Welcome everyone. I'm Anurima, the founder and CEO of Go Digital 360 Degree. We're so excited to have you here today. Whether you're a solo entrepreneur, a marketer, a brand manager, or just someone curious about how brands grab our attention and hold on to it, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to talk about a fascinating subject: how psychology and brain science shape the way people react to branding online. It's not about manipulating, it's about understanding. And when you understand what makes people tick, you can design marketing that connects, builds trust, and stays in their mind. Let's make it simple. Imagine your brain is like a big sponge. And everything you see online, colors, logos, photos, even the words in an ad, are drops of water. Some drops dry up fast, others they sink in and stay. That's what we call branding that sticks. We're going to show you today how to create those sticky drops using neuromarketing, a mix of psychology, smart design, emotional connection, and storytelling. No jargon, just real ideas that work. You've probably already experienced this without even knowing it, like when you see Coca Cola's red label and you feel a little nostalgic. Or when you visit a minimalist website with soft colors and you instantly trust the brand without reading a word. That's not magic, it's science. Big words use these psychological cues all the time, but the truth is, even small brands can tap into the same tools with the right strategy. You don't need a massive budget, you just need insights into how people feel and think. So, today we're going to explore how color psychology, emotion driven storytelling, design elements, and even layout decisions can influence your audience's actions. Whether it's getting someone to click, sign up, or make a purchase, it's all connected to the way their brain processes information. We'll break it down with the easy examples and real brand stories so you can apply the same magic to your own brand. Let's get started with a fresh perspective and maybe a few aha moments along the way.
Hello everyone, I'm Mehak, the co-founder and CEO of Go Digital Degree. Whether you're watching live or catching the replay later, we're glad you're here. What we're about to dive into is something completely changed the way I think about branding. Neuromarketing might sound like a complex word, but it really comes down to one simple idea. When you know how people feel and think, you can communicate with them more meaningfully. This isn't just theory, it works in real life, and that's what we're here to show you. Let me paint a quick picture. Imagine walking into a bakery. It smells like warm, fresh cookies. Without thinking, your brain sends you a signal: buy one. That's your senses triggering emotion. In the digital world, we don't have smells or physical spaces, but we have colors, images, fonts, copy, and structure. All of that creates a similar kind of emotional experience. And if it's done well, it makes people want to stick around, click, follow, or buy. What's interesting is that most buying decisions aren't based on logic, they are based on feelings. People may tell you they are looking for the best price or the fastest service, but deep down, what really influences them is how your brand makes them feel. Do they feel safe, excited, seen, inspired? And all that starts with how you present yourself online. That's why branding isn't just design, it's psychology in action. So today we are going to unpack all of this in a way that's clear, engaging, and super practical. You don't need a marketing degree to understand it, and you don't need a big team to apply it. Whether you're building your brand from scratch or refining an existing one, these strategies are something anyone can use. At the end, our hope our hope is that you'll walk away with not just ideas, but actual changes you'll want to make. Let's dive into brain behind the brand.
All right, now that we've set the tone, let's get into the heart of it: neuromarketing. Sounds like a science experiment, right? But it's something we all experience every single day without realizing it. Neuromarketing is all about understanding how our brains respond to marketing messages. It's a combination of neuroscience and consumer behavior. But fancy words aside, it means looking at how things like colors, images, sounds, and words affect decisions. It's about why someone chooses brand A over brand B when both are offering the same thing. And why should brands care? Well, because if you can understand what makes your audience pause, click, scroll, and even smile, You can design better campaigns. You're not throwing spaghetti at the wall anymore. You're being intentional. Think of it like using Google Maps instead of wandering around with a paper map. It's smarter, faster, and helps. It helps you reach your destinations with less effort. That's what neuromarketing does. It gives you a shortcut to your consumer's heart and mind. Here's a fun real life example. Have you ever wondered why sale signs are always red? That's neuromarketing. Red triggers urgency in the brain. It literally makes people stop and pay attention. Supermarkets, online banners, fast fashion brands, they all use red because it activates the part of the brain that says act fast or you'll miss out. And it works. People spend more when they feel that sense of urgency, and even if they didn't plan to buy anything. Another great example is how luxury brands use black and white, minimalist, clean, classic, because it signals sophistication and timelessness. You don't see luxury brands shouting in color, they whisper in elegance. The brain reads that and goes, this is exclusive. So, when we say branding that sticks, we mean branding that your brain instantly processes, understands, and remembers. And neuromarketing is the tool that makes it possible.
And what's even cooler is that you don't have to be a big brand like Nike or Apple to use neuromarketing. Small businesses, local boutiques, online startups, you all can tap into this too. Because at the end of the day, it's about people. Whether you're selling homemade candles or digital services, you're still trying to connect with another human being. Their brain works the same way. And when you use neuromarketing principles, your messages becomes 10 times stronger. Let's say you're in a local cafe. You want more people to come in. You could just post, try a coffee, or you could trigger a little emotions, a warm hug in a cup just down the street. The second one paints a picture in the mind. It makes the person feel something. And when people feel something, they remember it. That's neuromarketing. It's using emotional cues, colors, memory triggers, and even rhythm in your words to stand out. And the reason this works so well is that 95% of decision making happens in the subconscious mind. We all like to think we are being logical, but most of the time our brains are just reacting based on feelings. Think about how many times you've bought something just because it felt right. That's the power of emotional branding. It's less about persuading and more about resonating, making your audience feel seen, heard, and understood. So the to this question of this, why should brands care about neuromarketing? Because in a crowded digital world, people forget what they saw, but they remember how it made them feel. The emotional imprint is what creates long-term loyalty. And when you combine smart strategy with brain-based insights, your brand doesn't just show up, it stands out. And that's exactly what we want to help you do today.
Now, let's talk about something you see everywhere but probably don't think twice about color. You might think, oh, I just like blue, or our designer thought green looked good. But in marketing, colors aren't just decorations, they're powerful psychological tools. The colors you choose can make people trust you, excite them, calm them down, or even make them hungry. It's not random, it's science. Your brand's color palette speaks to the brain before your words ever do. Think of brands like McDonald's, red and yellow. That combo isn't just bright and cheerful, it stimulates hunger and happiness. That's why so many fast food chains use the same colors. Or take Facebook and LinkedIn. They use blue, which communicates trust, professionalism, and calmness. These choices weren't made on whim. They're rooted in how our brains associated color with emotion. That's the psychology of color, and it matters more than most people realize. And here's a fun example, a spa using bright red in its branding. That would feel totally off, right? Red screams energy and urgency, not exactly the vibe you want when you're trying to relax. A soft lavender or cool teal, on the other hand, immediately signals peace and calm. Even if you never step into the spa, you'd feel relaxed just by looking at their Instagram. That's the emotional power of color in action. So, when you're thinking about your brand, ask yourself, how do you want people to feel? Energized, safe, luxurious, warm and fuzzy? Start there and then choose your color palette based on the emotional tone you want to set. And the best part, once you get your colors right, your entire visual identity becomes more memorable. You're not just pretty, you're purposeful.
And just to add to that, your brand's color palette isn't just about your logo or your website background. It's in your Instagram grid, your packaging, your ads, even the shade of text you choose for a call to action button. Every color is like a signal your audience is picking up on, whether they know it or not. The right color combo can guide your audience's attention and even subtly influence what they do next. It's like having a remote control for emotion, and color is the volume button. Let's take another real world example, Tiffany and Co. That signature robin egg blue, it's not just a color, it's an emotion. It says elegance, timelessness, and exclusivity. People even refer to as Tiffany blue because it became so iconic. And that's what you want for your brand too. You want your color palette to be so consistent, so aligned with your message that people recognize you before they read a word. And remember, different colors mean different things in different cultures too. So if you're a global or multicultural brand, it's super important to be intentional. For example, while in Western countries often symbolizes purity and weddings, so sorry, for example, white in Western countries often symbolizes purity and and weddings, but in some Asian countries it's associated with mourning. So if you're planning an international campaign, always check how your colors might be perceived emotionally across different regions. Lastly, let's not forget colors also affect conversions. Yes, actual click and buys. Studies have shown that something as simple as changing a CTA button from green to red can impact how many people click. So when we say neuromarketing is powerful, we mean it. It literally drives results. Colors isn't fluff, it's strategy. It's one of the simplest ways to start applying neuromarketing to your brand, and yet so many brands overlook it. You won't, though, but not after today.
Let's talk about something that drives every single buying decision: emotions. You can have the best product, the smartest ad, and the cleanest website, but if it doesn't make someone feel something, it's just noise. Emotional triggers are what stops the scroll. They're the why behind every click, every share, every purchase. Because we're emotional creatures, we decide with emotion first and then decide with logic later. That's how our brains are wired. Think about any heartwarming ad you've seen, maybe the one with the old man and the puppy during the holidays. You probably didn't remember the product first, you remembered how it made you feel. That lump in your throat, that awe moment. And what brand was it? Oh, right, it was a chocolate company. That feeling made the brand memorable. They tapped into emotion, not just sales talk. And that's exactly what brands need to aim for. Now, emotions don't always have to be teary or sentimental. It could be laughter, nostalgia, confidence, and even FOMO. Like when you see a travel reel and suddenly feel like your life's boring in comparison, that's an emotional trigger at work. It doesn't matter whether you're selling beauty products, coaching sessions, or furniture. When you can connect emotionally, you're already winning half the battle. So the question becomes, what emotion does your brand evoke? Is it safety, excitement, belonging, clarity? Emotion isn't just storytelling fluff, it's strategic fuel. The stronger the feeling, the deeper the memory. That's what makes branding stick. And if you can create emotional resonance in your content, your brand stops being just another option, it becomes the choice.
The fun part is once you understand how emotions drive behavior, you can build your brand messaging around it. Let's say you're a skincare brand. Instead of saying our moisturizer is dermatologically tested, you say finally skin that feels like home. See the difference? The first is a fact, the second is a feeling. One informs, the other connects, and connection is what makes people act. A great real life example of emotional branding is Nike's You Can't Stop Us campaign. It wasn't about shoes, it was about resilience, diversity, hope. The message gave people goosebumps, and after watching it, you felt inspired to do something, even if that something was just lacing up your sneakers and going for a walk. That's the power of emotional storytelling. It goes way beyond the product. Even small brands can do this. A local bakery once ran a campaign with a small caption, "Made with Grandma's Love." And suddenly, it wasn't just bread, it was childhood, warmth, and memories wrapped in a bun. People shared that post like crazy. Why? Because it struck a chord. You don't need a big budget to spark a big feeling. You just need to be human. That's where the real magic lies. And let's not forget, emotion isn't just for the audience, it's for you as a brand too. When your brand stands for something meaningful, it gives your team a deeper purpose, your customer a reason to trust you, and your entire business a story worth sharing. And in today's world, that's more powerful than any algorithm or ad spend. Emotion builds loyalty, and loyalty builds lasting brands.
All right, let's play a quick game. Imagine you land on a new website. Within 3 seconds, what do you notice first? The colors, the font, the layout. Maybe it's an image or a headline. Whatever it is, your brain decides in those first 3 seconds, do I stay or do I go? That's how fast our minds work online. In fact, studies show users form an opinion about a website or a brand in as little as 0.05 seconds. That's not even a full breath. Now, here's the thing, this snap judgment isn't just based on one element, it's a combo of visuals, tone, and emotional cues. It's like walking into a room and instantly sensing the vibe. If it feels too cluttered, outdated, or confusing, your brain says no, next. But if it feels clean, friendly, and relevant, you're more likely to explore. That's why your homepage, social media ads, basically everything needs to speak the right language instantly. A great example is Apple. Think about their product pages, minimalist, clean, crisp. You instantly feel a sense of innovation and premium quality. That's not accidental, that's years of strategic design and emotional engineering. Or take Airbnb, their site greets you with warm images and phrases like find your home away from home. In a few seconds, you already feel welcome, safe, and curious to click around. So, what does this mean for your brand? It means you must be intentional about every pixel and every word that shows up first. Because whether you realize it or not, your audience is judging, not harshly, but instinctively. And the good news, once you understand how fast impressions are formed, you can take control and design the first hello in a way that makes people want to stay, scroll, and even eventually convert.
And let's be real. When we are scrolling through Instagram or visiting a site, we're not giving brands our full attention. We're distracted. We are multitasking. So your brand doesn't just need to show up, it needs to stand out. In 3 seconds, can someone tell what you do, who it's for, and why they should care? If the answer is no, you've got work to do. And trust me, most brands do. Let's talk about a real life example from a small business. There was a local cafe that had the most incredible coffee, but their website it was hard to read. The menu was buried, and the images were low resolution. People would land there and bounce in seconds. Once they cleaned it up, added warm tones, clearer CTAs, and real photos of smiling baristas, their online orders spiked. Same cafe, different impression. That's the magic of presentation. And this applies to social media too. The first 3 seconds of your reel, the first frame of your ad, the opening line of your caption, it all counts. If you're boring or unclear at the start, people will scroll past without even realizing what they missed out. But if you hook them up, but if you like go hook them right away, visually or emotionally, they stay, they listen, they act, and that's where conversion begins. So think of your brand like a first date. You wouldn't show up late in pajamas, mumble your name, and expect a second meeting, right? Same with branding. You want to be confident, warm, and crystal clear from the get go. First impressions don't give second chances, but when you get them right, they open the door to lasting relationships. And that's what every brand should be aiming for.
Colors are like the silent salespeople of your brand. They speak volumes even before a single word is read. Our brains are wired to associate colors with emotions and meanings. Think about how red instantly grabs attention, danger, excitement, love, or how blue often feels trustworthy, calm, and professional. These aren't just vibes, they're psychological reactions happening in a split second, and smart brands use this to their full advantage. Let's take an example. You see almost every day Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. What do they all have in common? That classic blue color. And there's a reason for that. Blue creates a sense of reliability and calmness. In the digital world, where trust is everything, using a color that subconsciously signals, hey, we're safe, you can relax here, is incredibly powerful. It's not about what looks pretty, it's about what feels right to the viewer's brain. Now, flip the script and think about brands like McDonald's or Coca Cola. Bold reds and yellow that spark energy, appetite, and urgency. These colors aren't chosen at random. Red can raise your heart rate, it creates excitement. Yellow is cheerful and grabs attention. So when you're scrolling and see those colors together, your brain associates them with hunger and happiness. Suddenly you want fries. That's neuromarketing in action. So when you're choosing colors for your brand, whether it's your logo, your Instagram feed, or your packaging, think beyond aesthetics. Ask yourself, what do I want people to feel? What part of their brain do I want to light up? Color is your secret weapon to trigger emotion without saying a word. If you use it with intention, you don't just make something beautiful, you make something memorable.
You know what's amazing? Even small shifts in color can totally change the emotional impact. Let's say you're a wellness coach. If a brand uses harsh neon green and black, it might come off as edgy or intense, which could confuse audience. But switch to softer greens and calming neutrals, and suddenly your brand feels peaceful, nurturing, and safe. You're still offering the same service, but now you're aligning with the right feeling. Let me give you a real life example. There's this boutique skincare brand that rebranded from flashy pinks and purples to earthy tones, beige, olive, and blush. Why? Because they want to emphasize clean ingredients and self care. Within months, their engagement shot up. Their packaging felt more premium, their feed looked more curated, and people started to trust the brand more. That's the magic of strategic and color psychology. It shifts perception. And it's not just about one color, it's about combination. Some palettes energize, others soothe. Some scream luxury, others feel playful and fun. So, whether you're targeting teens or working professionals, your color choices should mirror the mindset. Want to appeal to a younger, dynamic audience? Think bold contrast and vibrant tones. Want to sell high-end furniture? Deep charcoals, golds, and rich neutrals could be your thing. At the end of the day, color psychology is a bridge between emotion and decision. It's not about tricking the brain; it's about understanding it. When you design with color consciously, you're not just not just decorating; you're influencing. You're building a brand that feels a certain way, and that feeling is what keeps people coming back, clicking, and ultimately trusting.
Let's start with a little truth bomb. Humans don't make decisions based on logic. We like to think we do, but deep down, it's all about emotion. Think about the last time you bought something you didn't really need. Maybe a pair of shoes, a quirky mug, or even a new phone when the old one was just fine. Chances are there was an emotion behind that decision. Maybe excitement, boredom, stress, and even joy. This is where emotional triggers become powerful tools in branding and marketing. When you tap into emotions like happiness, nostalgia, fear of missing out, and even pride, you're not just selling a product, you're creating a connection. For example, remember those Google ads that tell a whole story in just a minute? A son searching how to say I love you in French, or a long distance couple planning a reunion. They sell tech, but sure, uh, but what you feel is love, hope, closeness. That feeling, it sticks. It makes you remember them. And that's why storytelling works so well in digital strategy. When your brand tells a story, people see themselves in it. If you're a fitness brand, don't just post workout gear, share transformation journeys. If you're a bakery, don't just show cupcakes. Talk about the grandma who inspired your first recipe. These aren't just cute stories, they activate emotions that make people want to root for you and buy from you and tell their friends. And here's the fun part, even colors, words, and music can amplify these emotional triggers. A soft instrumental track can make your product feel elegant. A punchy headline can spark curiosity. A tear jerking reel with warm tones, that's your golden ticket to shares and saves. The key is to be human, speak to the hearts first, and the minds will follow.
But I would even say that in the age of digital fatigue, when people are bombarded with content, what cuts through the noise is not information but emotion. Think of how many ads you scroll past every day without noticing. But then one hits you in the feels, and suddenly you're tearing up over dog food or smiling at a travel ad. That moment of emotion is what stops the scroll and starts the engagement. Take Nike, for example. Their title isn't "We sell sports gear," it's "Just do it." That tiny phrase tap into motivation, grit, possibility. Their campaigns aren't about product features, they're about resilience, dreams, and breaking limits. Whether you're an athlete or not, it moves you. That's emotional branding done right. And no matter how big or small your brand is, the principle is the same. You can use emotional triggers at every level: your headlines, caption, visuals, even your call to action. Instead of saying buy now, you could say treat yourself. Instead of limited stock, say don't miss out. These subtle tweaks trigger feeling like reward or urgency. And once people feel something, their chances of acting go up because now it's personal. So don't be afraid to be emotional in your brand messaging. Show behind the scenes moment. Celebrate your team. Highlight your values. Share not just what you do, but why you do it. Because in a world of options, people choose brands that feel human. Brands that understand them, uplift them, inspire them. And if you can create that feeling, you've already won half of the battle.
Let's talk about some super cool psychological tricks. Yes, the ones that big brands use all the time without us even noticing. One of them is called anchoring. Sounds technical, but it's simple. Imagine you walk into a store and you see a jacket with a 10,000 price tag. You go, whoa, that's pricey. But right next to it is a similar one on a sale for 5,000. Suddenly, 5,000 feels like a deal, right? That's anchoring in action. Your brain compares the two and thinks I'm saving money, even if 5,000 is still quite a bit. The same concept works online. If you see websites showing the original price slashed out and the discounted price in bold, that's anchoring, and people love it. It makes them feel smart. They feel like they won something. So, if your brand sells something, anything, courses, clothing, candles, you can apply anchoring by showing a value before offering a deal. You're not tricking anyone, you're helping their brain understand the value. Now, let's talk about scarcity. It's that little whisper in your brain that says, buy it now or it'll be gone. That's why phrases like only three left or offer ends tonight work so well. We hate missing out. It's called FOMO, and our brains kick into gear when we sense urgency. Brands use countdown timers, limited editions, or flash sales to nudge us into quicker decisions. Not because the world will end if we don't buy, but because psychologically it creates excitement and action. And here's where it gets interesting: social proof. This is when we look to others to decide what's right. Think reviews, ratings, testimonials. Five people bought this in the last hour. Your brain goes, if others trust it, maybe I should too. Social proof builds credibility. It's why influencer collaborations work, why we trust our ratings, and why we click what our friends are buying. You can build social proof even as a small business, highlight happy customer feedbacks, show user generated content, or celebrate milestones. People trust people, not products.
So, anchoring, scarcity, and social proof, these are the secret spices in your marketing recipe. They make everything more flavorful and persuasive. And the best part is you don't need a huge marketing budget to use them. It's all about being thoughtful in how you present your product or service. You can anchor your price by saying valued at rupees 999, now available for rupees 499. You can create scarcity by adding only 10 seats left in your workshop post. These little nudges feel natural, not pushy, because they align with how we think. Let's look at a real life example. Think about online food ordering apps like Zomato or Swiggy. Have you noticed the little tags that say bestseller or trending? Or how it shows two people ordered this in the last hour? That's social proof working like a charm. You're more likely to try that dish because your brain believes it must be good if others are eating it. This also explains why people trust Amazon products with thousands of reviews more than those with none. It's about confidence through community and scarcity. We've all fallen for it. These midnight madness sale or only for 24 hours email are designed to make you act fast, because the longer we think, the more likely we are to walk away. So when you put a gentle time limit or show that spots are filling fast, you're helping people make quicker choices, not by pressure but by focus. It cuts the noise and says, hey, this is worth your attention right now. When you weave these triggers into your digital strategy thoughtfully, they don't feel like tactics, they feel like clarity. You're guiding your audience's brain in a way that helps them feel confident, excited, and ready to act. That's not manipulation. It's marketing with psychology. And it works, not because it's clever, but because it's human.
All right, let's dive into a concept that essentially for any brand that wants to be successful: trust. You can have the best product in the world, but if your audience doesn't trust you, they won't buy from you. And trust isn't something that happens overnight, it's built through consistency and transparency. Think about it. How many times have you bought from a brand because their messaging was reliable and clear? You knew exactly what to expect, whether it's a quality guarantee, customer service, or delivery times. Consistency creates an experience that people can rely on. Let's take a simple example. Think of Apple. Whether you walk into an Apple store, browse their website, or open their app, everything is consistent. The logo, the fonts, the minimalist aesthetic, it's all the same. That consistency reinforces trust every time you interact with them. You know what to expect. And guess what? People buy from brands they trust. So for your brand, it's not just about the content you post, it's about creating a recognizable experience everywhere, from your website to your social media profiles to your emails. And then there's transparency. People love when brands are upfront about their products or services. Think of brands that give you behind the scene peeks, show you how their products are made, or openly discuss their brand's business practices. That transparency and it is incredibly powerful. It makes customers feel like they're a part of something bigger. Take a brand like Patagonia, for instance. They are known for being transparent about how their products are made and their commitment to sustainability. That transparency has won them loyalty from millions of customers who share those views. Consistency and transparency are especially crucial in the digital world, where your brand's reputation can spread in the blink of an eye. A single negative review or a miscommunication can undo all the hard work you've put into building the trust. So, whether you're a small business or a large brand, make sure your messaging is aligned across all the channels, and always be open with your audience. When they know what to expect, they'll stick around.
Absolutely. Trust is the glue that holds any business's relationship together. And when it comes to online brands, trust plays an even bigger role because your customers can't physically see or touch a product before buying. They're trusting your brand, your visuals, your reviews, and ultimately your reputation. A great example of trust in action is Amazon. They've built a massive loyal customer base simply by being reliable. You trust that your order will arrive on time, that it'll be the right product, and that if something goes wrong, customer service will sort it out. Consistency isn't just about showing up regularly, it's about delivering the same level of quality and messaging every time. You've seen brands that try to be quirky one day, formal the next, and then relax the following week. It's confusing, right? And it makes you second guess whether you should buy from them. Consistency helps reinforce the feeling that your brand is dependable and predictable. When your audience knows what to expect, they feel more comfortable engaging with you. Now, let's talk about transparency. In this digital space, transparency is a huge deal. And it's not just about sharing the good stuff, it's about owning up to mistakes and being clear about any challenges that your brands might face. If there's a delay in shipping, tell your customers upfront. If product isn't available, let them know. Brands that communicate openly and honestly tend to have better relationships with their customers. They feel human, relatable, and trustworthy. Compare that with brands that keep their customer in the dark. It's not pretty. You might be thinking, but what if I don't have any problems to report? Well, it's not just about being transparent when things go wrong. Transparency also means sharing your wins, your processes, your values. Show your customers why you do what you do. Let them know the story behind your products or the mission that drives your businesses. People connect with that. They don't just want to buy from a faceless brand, they want to buy from someone they can trust, someone who aligns with their values. And when you're consistent and transparent, you're the right path to building that trust that lasts.
We've talked about a lot. We've talked about psychological triggers, but now let's dive into one of the most powerful tools in branding, the emotional connection. Why do people buy Apple products even though they're sometimes pricier than the competition? It's not just because of the features, it's because Apple taps into emotions. They sell a lifestyle. They make their customers feel like they belong to something special, something innovative. And that's what brands do when they forge an emotional connection. It's not about logic, it's about how your product or service makes people feel. Now, think about your own experiences with brands. Have you ever felt excited when you see a product, or maybe nostalgic when you hear a brand's jingle? These are emotions, and they are key drivers behind purchase decisions. The emotional connection you build with your audience makes them feel like they need your product, not just want it. That emotional pull is incredibly strong and it often overrides logic. So ask yourself, what do you want your brand to make your audience feel? Happy, excited, safe, empowered. For example, Coca Cola has spent years building a connection with feelings of happiness and togetherness. When you see a Coke ad, it's not just about the drink itself, it's about sharing a Coke with friends, celebrating a moment, or simply relaxing. Their marketing campaigns make you think Coke is equal to happiness. That's emotional branding at its best, and it doesn't just work for big brands. Small businesses can do it too. By understanding your customers' emotions, you can craft messages and visuals that speak to their hearts. But it's not enough to just make people feel good. Your emotional connection must also align with your brand values and mission. If your messaging is inconsistent with the emotions you want to evoke, it will confuse your audience. The feeling you build needs to tie back to your product, your service, and what you stand for. For example, Dove doesn't just sell soap, they sell self esteem and real beauty. Their messaging empowers women to feel confident, and that emotional connection is a major reason behind their brand success.
Emotional branding is a powerful tool that drives people to act. When you connect emotionally with your audience, you're creating a bond that goes beyond transactions. Think of the last time you bought something because it made you feel a certain way. Maybe it was a brand that made you feel part of community, or perhaps it was a message that resonated deeply with you. That's what brands want to achieve, to make consumers feel understood, valued, and even inspired. Let's break this down with a relatable example. Think about Nike. Their Just Do It slogan isn't about selling shoes, it's about inspiring people to push past their limits, to believe in themselves. That's a powerful emotion. It taps into the desire for accomplishment, strength, and success. Every time you see their ads, they're not just selling a product, they're selling a feeling of empowerment. And guess what? That's why people are willing to pay top dollar for the products. The shoes become a symbol of personal achievement, not just something you wear on your feet. The emotional connection you create also must feel authentic. If your brand doesn't align with the emotion you're trying to evoke, your audience will see through it. Imagine a brand promoting luxury that only uses discount sales. It doesn't match the luxury feeling, right? It's like someone saying they're a gourmet chef but always serving fast food. The emotional appeal must be genuine and match the overall experience you're offering. Authenticity is key in emotional branding. If you're claiming your brand is about sustainability, but your actions don't align with that message, customers will notice and they won't stick around. So, how do you make a emotional connection? Start by knowing your audience. Understand what they care about, what drives them, what frustrates them, and what excites them. Then weave those emotions into your content. Use colors, words, and visuals that resonate with their feelings. Whether it's happiness, excitement, security, or even nostalgia, tapping into emotions makes your audience feel something powerful, and that feeling will make them want to come back for more.
We hope this session has helped you understand the power of neuromarketing and psychological triggers in branding. Remember, creating a brand that sticks isn't just about looking good or having the best products, It's about building connections, whether through trust, emotions, or those little psychological nudges that make people feel good about what they're buying.
If you have any questions or feedback, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. We'll be more than happy to answer and assist you with anything you need. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this today, and we hope you find this session valuable. Thank you.